Look at that graph. Everything slowed down in Q3 of Q4 of last year just to skyrocket in Q1 of 2023. Now, who would have guessed that? I knew that Calgary was going to have a good year, but I really didn't expect it to look like this early on. Let's go break it down. Hi, my name's Fyfe, your Calgary Realtor. If you're looking to step into the real estate market in 2023, go ahead, click the very first link in the description and book a call. Okay, so here are your numbers for detached homes for the month of February. And right away, I want to point out this massive price increase. So in just 1 month, single family homes increased by $13,000, putting the benchmark price for a single family home back to August of 2022 prices. And one of the biggest differences is that we are now increasing and not decreasing. Days on market dropped by 11 days, which is pretty significant. And again, days on market also jumped back to August 2022, which was still a pretty busy month, even though we saw some initial reductions due to the increase in interest rates. Now, when you compare the two, you can see that the total sales are only off by about 350. New listings dropped by about half. The inventory also dropped. But truthfully, when looking at this and doing the comparison, it doesn't really look like anything special. Yet, the price increase of $13,000 from last month is pretty startling. So let's go and dive into more graphs and figure out what's going on. Now, this graph here visualizes what's going on with detached homes as a whole in Calgary. You can see our May-June highs of last year, the recorrection in price as interest rates were increased, and then coupling that with season slowdown with the Christmas holidays. Now, if you look at this past month, you can see this massive spike as well. Now, this is pretty crazy because last month I was actually warning people about a potential year-over-year negative percentage. But just from this past month, my mindset has completely shifted and starting to think about just how much demand there is going to be in the spring, possibly pushing that number back up to our May-June highs. Now, it's safe to say I wasn't expecting this big of a jump. I did figure that it would increase due to my own personal experience on the field and going through some aggressive negotiations with personal clients, but I didn't expect it to go all the way back up to August prices already. Now, let's take a peek at each individual quadrant of Calgary. And this is our first step in finding out how this report can better relate to your personal situation. You can see that the average sales to new listing ratio is only about 70%. East Calgary is the highest at 137%. Everywhere else looks like a nicely moving market, but really nothing too crazy to see here. Now, inventory, like mentioned by our local analyst Anne-Marie, is the lowest it's been since 2006 when we experienced an oil boom and the housing prices skyrocketed. Months of supply is very low. Under 1.5 months means that these areas here are in a seller's market. City Center is nicely balanced out right now at 2.7 months. Year over year, we are seeing our first negative, and it's by 0.3%, so a $3,000 price reduction. And really, that is absolutely nothing for the price point of $800,000. You're basically at a 0% movement. Moving along to month over month, this is where it starts to get a lot of fun. Now, you can see every month did see an increase in price, with detached homes in the Northwest taking the lead, a $28,000 increase from last month. Now, this is kind of a perfect storm, if you would. The holiday season is the slowest historically, and it's the least expensive time of the year. So naturally, February prices increase from January. It's pretty common, but they don't exactly increase by this much. Seeing multiple quadrants increase by $10,000 and more in just 1 month means that there's a lot of movement right now, and it's going to be a lot of fun to report on in the coming months. And lastly, let's power through a couple of graphs. And the first one we'll take a peek at is the total sales by price point. The yellow bar is last year and the red bar is this year. And just look at how many sales there were last year. Right now, Calgary is going through a stage where there are simply not enough homes going up for sale. I would love to know just how high the sales would go if more homeowners decide that now is the time to sell, which realistically it is, especially if you have been holding off. Now, the sales on this chart really don't look like anything special, and that's again because we have an inventory issue. So with that being said, here is the new listings long-term average, right in line with the 2017 and 2018 years, the few years after a bad oil recession in Calgary. So 2015, oil prices plummeted, putting Calgary into what looks like a 4 to 5 year recession. And COVID, believe it or not, was exactly what Calgary needed just to get out of that slump. And again, just not enough people looking to sell to meet the current demand from buyers. And then finally, the price chart change. So For detached homes, you can see the little red line starting in 2018 with 0 to no movement for 3 years and continuing on that upwards trend starting in 2021. So what will 2023 have in store? Well, quite a bit apparently. Subscribe to the video and feel free to share it with your friends. Calgary has a lot going on this year, especially in the lower price points between $400,000 and $600,000. So if you like what you see, please comment and I'll see you on the next one.